The economic rebellion, how Black women are building their own tables when America closes its doors. Thank you all for being here today. I'm truly honored to stand before you to share some extraordinary insights I gained from my recent interview with Montana Merccy, a brilliant economic researcher and advocate who has been meticulously documenting one of the most significant yet underreported economic shifts in our country. Montana isn't just collecting data, she's illuminating a revolution. Through her groundbreaking work, she's giving voice to thousands of women who are silently transforming America's economic landscape, challenging every assumption we hold about power, resilience, and who gets to create wealth in this country. What I'm about to share with you today challenges everything we think we know about economic vulnerability and power. It's a story that rarely makes headlines, yet it's reshaping the American economy right under our noses. Let me start with a headline you might have seen. Black women lost 106,000 jobs in April 2025. The unemployment rate for Black women jumped from 5.1% to 6.1% in a single month. These numbers paint a picture of vulnerability, of systemic exclusion, of being the first fired when economic winds shift. But that's only half the story. And it's the other half, the half that Montana Merccy has been brilliantly documenting, that I find far more compelling and frankly revolutionary. While Black women were losing jobs in traditional employment at alarming rates, they were simultaneously driving the biggest entrepreneurship boom in modern American history. Women now start nearly half, 49%, of all new businesses in America. That's a staggering 69% increase since 2019. And Black owned businesses are now more likely to be started by women than by men. This isn't just a statistical anomaly, it's a profound economic and cultural shift that Montana Merccy has helped illuminate through her research. It challenges our fundamental assumptions about economic power, resilience, and who gets to create wealth in America. Think about what we've been taught about economic security. Get a good education, find a stable job, work your way up, save for retirement. That's the path to financial stability, right? But what happens when that path is consistently blocked? What happens when you face discrimination in hiring? When you're paid less for the same work? When you're the first to be let go during economic downturns? For generations, Black women have faced exactly these barriers. The traditional path to economic security has been more like an obstacle course designed to exclude them at every turn. So, what's remarkable isn't that Black women are struggling in traditional employment. What's remarkable is how they're responding to that struggle. Instead of simply trying harder to fit into a system that wasn't built for them, they're building their own systems. They're creating businesses, generating wealth, and redefining what economic power looks like in America. This isn't a small shift, it's a rebellion, and it's happening right now. Let me share some specifics from Montana's research. 5 years ago, a renaissance in entrepreneurship began across the US. Before 2019, women launched only 29% of new businesses. By 2024, that number had jumped to 49%. Black women entrepreneurs have helped reshape the American business landscape, with women now starting the majority of businesses and community services, 68%, and personal assistance sectors, 58%. This shift represents not just economic activity, but a transformation in who creates and owns businesses in America. It's potentially leading to more diverse and inclusive business practices and opportunities across the board. What's particularly striking about this trend is that it's happening despite, not because of, the broader economic environment. The April 2025 job losses for Black women occurred despite the national unemployment rate holding steady at 4.2%. The economy actually added 175,000 jobs during that same period. But those gains weren't distributed equally. Economists identify specific factors behind this disparity, including reductions in federal jobs that historically provide stable employment for Black women and the rollback of DEI initiatives in major industries. These are systemic challenges that continue to create barriers for Black women in traditional employment. Yet, in the face of these challenges, Black women aren't simply victims of circumstance. They're actively reshaping the economic landscape by creating their own paths to success and economic empowerment. I think about Tasha, a woman Montana interviewed in Detroit after being laid off from her government position after 12 years. Tasha didn't just apply for more jobs. She launched a healthcare consulting firm that now employs 7 people and serves clients across 3 states. When they showed me the door, Tasha told Montana, I didn't just find another door, I built my own house. This story isn't unique. It's being repeated thousands of times across America. Black women are responding to workplace exclusion by creating workplace of inclusion. They're turning rejection into creation. They're transforming pain into power. Historically, federal jobs provided stable employment opportunities for Black women. The recent reduction in these positions, coupled with decreased support from DEI initiatives, created a challenging employment landscape. But despite these challenges, Black women owned businesses saw impressive growth, with data showing that between 2019 and 2023, Black and African American women owned businesses increased their average revenues by 32.7%. This economic resilience demonstrates how Black women are not just responding to workplace challenges, but actively creating new economic models and opportunities. It's a powerful testament to the creativity, determination, and vision of Black women entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurship boom began around 2020 and has continued to grow, with new business applications in early 2025 more than 40% greater than at any point since before the Great Recession. Black women entrepreneurs have successfully entered various sectors, particularly dominating in community services and personal assistance sectors, which include healthcare, social assistance, and retail. This shift is creating more diverse business ownership across the economy and potentially addressing gaps in services and products for underserved communities. It's not just changing who owns businesses, it's changing what kinds of businesses exist and who they serve. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't a feel good story about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. The systemic barriers facing Black women in the economy are real, persistent, and damaging. The fact that Black women are losing jobs at disproportionate rates is a serious problem that demands attention and action. But what Montana Mercy's research reveals is that economic power isn't just about who gets hired, it's about who does the hiring. It's about who creates the businesses, who owns the assets, who builds the wealth. And increasingly, Black women are claiming that power for themselves. Montana shared the story of Keisha, who, after facing discrimination at 3 different corporate jobs, started her own marketing agency. I got tired of asking for permission to be brilliant, she said. Now I create spaces where brilliance is expected and rewarded. This entrepreneurial rebellion represents a form of economic self determination that has profound implications not just for Black women, but for our entire economy. When we expand who gets to create businesses and build wealth, we expand the kinds of problems that get solved, the kinds of communities that get served, the kinds of innovations that emerge. The surge in Black women's entrepreneurship represents not just an economic trend, but a form of resilience and self determination. By creating businesses in sectors like healthcare, social assistance, and retail, Black women are building economic independence while creating opportunities for their communities. This is what Montana Merccy calls the dual reality of Black women's economic experience today. On one hand, they face significant job losses in the traditional employment sector, 106,000 jobs lost in April 2025 alone. On the other hand, they are simultaneously driving an unprecedented entrepreneurship boom. This dual reality highlights both the persistent challenges and the remarkable resilience of Black women in today's economy. It's a complex picture that defies simple narratives of either victimhood or triumph. What's clear is that Black women are not passively accepting whatever the economy hands them. They're actively shaping it, transforming it, and in many cases, improving it, not just for themselves, but for everyone. As Montana so eloquently put it, when Black women create businesses, they don't just create jobs, they create possibilities. They create new ways of working, new products and services, new approaches to old problems. They create space where people who have been excluded elsewhere can thrive. So I stand here today with a challenge for each of you. This economic rebellion isn't just about Black women. It's about reimagining what's possible for all of us. It's about questioning the economic stories we've been told and creating new ones that serve more of us better. I challenge you to ask yourself, what table am I waiting to be invited to? What door am I knocking on that keeps remaining closed? What would happen if, instead of waiting for permission, you created something entirely new? And if you're not facing those barriers yourself, I challenge you to become an active ally in this economic transformation. Invest in Black women owned businesses, mentor aspiring entrepreneurs, challenge the hiring and promotion practices in your organization. Use your purchasing power intentionally. Because what Montana Mercy's research shows us is that when we support Black women entrepreneurs, we're not just supporting individual success stories, we're supporting a fundamental reimagining of economic power in America. We're supporting the creation of more inclusive, innovative, and resilient economic models that benefit all of us. The question isn't whether this economic rebellion will continue. It will. The question is whether you'll be part of it, whether you'll help accelerate it, whether you'll help ensure that it transforms not just individual lives, but our entire economic landscape. As Montana says, this isn't just about creating businesses, it's about creating the world we want to live in. So, what world do you want to live in? And what are you building today to make that world possible tomorrow? Thank you.